Hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning into Atomic Facepalm Weekly. I'm Chris.
And I'm Bree.
And I just did it backwards.
Does it matter?
I don't know.
Episode 19, go!
Hello and welcome, and thank you for tuning in. That was the most amazing intro ever by me. It's good times. Anyway, it is episode number 19. And if you want to hit subscribe, that'd be awesome. You can also leave us a comment and let us know what you think in the handy comment section below. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about some games we've been playing in the section that I usually say weird and wild words for, but I have nothing this week.
So you're asking what games I played this week?
Literally this time, yeah.
Okay.
Got nothing.
So we had house guests this last week, so it was a light gaming week for me as far as what I played. I did get quite a bit of VR in, and I watched a lot of Zelda.
We watched a lot of games being played.
Yeah, I watched my kids pretty much complete Zelda Breath of the Wild. I watched hours of them playing Zelda.
I also watched Breath of the Wild be beaten 2 times.
2 times, yes.
Yeah.
Because she got it. The first time she didn't have all the memories. The second time she went back, got all the memories for Zelda, then went in and got a different ending or something.
I didn't see the ending.
I didn't see the second ending, actually. So
it's pretty good. Yeah. And I think with the amount of hours that everyone in this household's put into that game, I actually didn't know if it was going to be beaten, but it was.
Yeah, because it was kind of like when it first came out, everybody was kind of playing it or was watching someone playing it all the time, and then it kind of fell off before anyone actually beat it.
Yeah. And Bree's writing notes about we're actually going to fire me and replace me with some sort of dog-like mechanism, and then you'll be entertained with a human-dog hybrid.
Yes. Step 1, create human-dog hybrid. Step 2, fire Chris.
Step 3, profit.
No, you gotta pause.
Oh.
Step 3. Step 4, profit.
Right, there you go. Also, I just want to go ahead and point out these little statues here were actually provided by my daughter, who is now up and visiting, and she gave them as a late Father's Day present. She came and she was like, "Hey, Dad, I got this really giant package for you."
It was a huge package.
Like, really big. Like, I'm talking gigantic. It's kind of far away, so I can't get it without knocking over the equipment. But it's, like, huge. And I really was expecting, like, this tiny little thing. And I had no idea what was in this. I was like, what is going on? And you open it up, and you get these giant, huge, detailed figurines. I think this is for Halo 5, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually have these, like, rare earth magnets here, and you stick them together, and it makes this really cool mural. Mm-hmm. These things are huge. It's so cool.
As you can tell.
Yeah.
You sent me a picture, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I got home and was like, holy crap, that's twice as big as I thought it was.
And you look at them close, they're actually pretty detailed. So I think this was part of a collector's edition. It has to be when it first came out. And it had like this little thing where it used to have a game in it. This one didn't, except we don't have an Xbox One anyway. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I was like, yeah, actually, this is a pretty neat little collector's item. I'm sure this cost like $500 when it first came out. And, I'm sure it's not that much anymore. But I was actually somewhat impressed. I was like, man, this is a pretty cool gift.
It is pretty cool.
Decent, yeah. Raising a good gamer kid there. So props to Vitalia, my kiddo. So I'm sorry, getting back to what we're playing. So yes, we had a lot of
side tangent.
Well, it relates to games.
No, it's totally fine.
It was clearly played by someone at some point.
Yeah.
Not me. So a lot of games that were being played in our household.
I did play quite a bit of VR. We had recently installed a few different, like Star Trek Bridge Crew, which we were playing last week. I didn't play any of that this week. Pretty solid VR game. I played Arizona Sunshine, which I was,
Yeah, it's weird because that game's got a lot of praise, honestly.
It does, and so I was kind of surprised that it was okay. It just seemed a little buggy to me. It's still, like, the menus are different. Every menu is different in a weird, bad way. Not a great, I don't know.
Yep.
Whatever. And then the game itself, I played one map, and that was fine, and that was cool, and you have limited ammo, which is unlike any of the other shooters that we've been kind of playing there.
Yep.
And then, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. The second map I tried out, I couldn't find my gun because you got to start off and pick up your gun, and there was no gun. I don't know.
That seems to be a detriment of some sort.
Yeah, so buggy, but...
So speaking of Star Trek Bridge Crew, I did play it. I played the intro. I got to kind of get my head wrapped around. I probably talked about this last time a little bit. But here's the plan, and I'm sticking to this. we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get in full uniform. I have. Now, it's anachronistic, and it's like more than anachronistic because it's actually different dimensions and future, but I have a Next Generation tactical officer uniform. Actually, I think it's a bridge crew officer, red one. Won't really fit for the position I want to play, but we're going to put it on anyway. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the tactical position spot. That's like Lieutenant Commander Worf or Tasha Yar before him, or...
This is getting heavy and
Yeah,
nerdy.
so I'm going to take that position, and what we're going to do is I'm going to be 100% in character. And I'm going to play this game, and I'm going to be a Star Trek bridge crew member, completely 100%, and we're going to record it, and we're going to see how it goes. I mean, I'm going to be talking like Star Trek lingo here. Arming phasers, Captain. Aye, sir, when an order is received.
It's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself.
No, it's going to be great. It's not pressure. This is like a lifetime dream.
Okay.
It's the opposite of pressure. It's going to be amazing. If we start getting damage, I'm going to start like shaking back and forth, just like on the show. And, if the shields are going down, I'm like, shields, Captain, shields are at 36%. And,
Can I shake the camera?
Yes. Oh, my God, yes. And I'll, like, hold on to my chair awkwardly and just very clearly be going back and forth as the camera shakes. So this is our plan. If we had any sort of following on a live stream, we could probably do it that way, but, we don't. So I guess we'll just throw it up on the YouTube channel. But I think it's going to be pretty good. The other thing I got to figure out is how to actually record. Someone left a really good comment, actually, in our VR video on how to record gameplay footage, because it was a little wonky in VR, if I remember right. Like, it was tough to...
we just did, like, the screen capture thing instead of, like, putting it into the piping and the sound. You just got to use OBS.
Oh, okay. Because my vision is we've got one camera on me like this, right? And then we're going to have, like, maybe we can do, like, like the big screen would be, like, what's going on in the game, and it'd be a small screen of me and how I'm reacting. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Until everything falls apart, and or until I get scared and self-conscious.
Because you haven't even played online. Actually, the kids have played online a lot, and
so I don't know. I'm still looking forward to it.
All right, let's see.
So
how
that's
goes.
a future to be played. It's not what I have played,
yes,
but it's in the pipeline. I'm gonna go for it.
You're all about diversion today. So what did you play this week?
There's a reason I'm being diversion-esque. Because I didn't play anything. I actually did play some Rime. I'm almost done with it, so I'm hoping to have that finished by this weekend, and I'll start to review on it. It's still a great game. I talked about Rime a lot before, so I won't kind of repeat myself, but again, really, really good game. Apparently one of the very few who really liked it, but hey, I thought it was good. We did, however, play a non-video game. We played Warhammer 40k 8th edition. We finally started it. So that was a few hours, 3 hours or so on Sunday night.
Yeah, we haven't finished that campaign, but putting together a list, and I put together a crap ton of models this week. Actually, that was the biggest thing that I think I did. Put together all of those starter models, and yeah, it's fun. It's different.
Very different. I would still highly recommend that over the Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 3 video game, because, it's actually 40k. This was actually our week of playing everything but video games. One of those weird weeks. We played paintball outside for a while. We did, like, other games. We actually, we play a lot of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I did. I played a ton of Super Smash Brothers. That's kind of like the go-to household game. Wait, you don't think that's good for the listeners when they hear me doing this in the table? So we played a lot of Super Smash Brothers and had a lot of brawls, and we actually had one, I gotta say. So there was a bet. Someone said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say the winner gets to choose a punishment for a loser. It was like a best out of 10 match. Okay, so we said, okay, that's what we get into. I was very hesitant. By a miracle, I came out in first place. And then the person in question, who you may have saw a cameo in one of our video title cards,
last week,
she came in last place. And so I handed out the punishment. And the punishment is she has to sing a Rock Band 3 song of my choice in front of the whole family. And for this particular person, she doesn't really like singing, so it's going to be, a very nice...
A nice punishment, nice reward for you.
So, our PS3, the HDMI slot broke, so we had to go like the old-fashioned component, like, dongle, and you can't split the cable, so we had to get a whole new cable, so it became a thing, but that's going to happen.
You got a lot of plans this week.
Yeah, got a lot that's going to come up.
Okay.
Just nothing that's happening now. So that's what I didn't play this week. It's like the longest what played that I didn't play.
It really was. You were all over the... Yeah.
That's right. Anything else for you, or is that pretty much all you want to mention?
And no, I popped through different VR games. I played that Rick and Morty game. I played Arizona Sunshine. I didn't play...
Oh, the Rick and Morty. That's right.
Which was pretty fun. It was very much like Job Simulator, but with a little bit more adult Rick and Morty humor. I don't know.
So I've never seen Rick and Morty. A friend of mine loves it. A lot of people online and on Twitter.
It's been on my list, but there's just so many good TV shows that it's, you know...
That's the other thing we did, by the way. I think it's worth mentioning because I want to give the show as much love. And
it is worth mentioning.
I want people to watch the show. It's Preacher. We were scared it wouldn't even get renewed because it had such a small viewership.
I don't hear anybody else talking about it. I know that people have to love this show. I love this show.
It's so good. Like, it's, in my opinion, better than the comic books, and I love the comic books. So, special shout out. Strange that the same people who made Sausage Party are making this show, but... They're doing really good at it. So watch some Preacher. We
rewatched season 1 and in preparation for season 2, which just aired last night, which is kind of.
We watched the second episode by accident because I didn't realize it was coming on at 8. That's a pretty hardcore show to have on at 8. I give AMC a lot of props for that.
So I turned on the TV to start recording at 9, and it was like in the middle of a scene. I'm like, this doesn't quite fit. What's going on?
But at the same time, it does because it's Preacher, you know? So, hey.
I don't know. I thought it was actually a good starting spot after it got going.
Yeah, me too. We started watching Twin Peaks, the newer one, again, and that's pretty cool. So, basically, everything besides...
Everything nerdy except for go-kart race,
except for the thing
bumper cars.
Except for the thing the show is based on.
So if you're here for video game talk, we are.
We have talk. We just don't... We're all talk and no walk.
Okay, no walking. I did play a lot of VR this week. I really did. That was like the most VR I think I've played in a week.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I had some solid VR time.
I really enjoy watching people play VR. It's one of I don't know, it gives me joy for some reason. Seeing people for the first time when they experience it, oh wow, it's just, I don't know, it gives me tingles. I like that. I like seeing people respond to technology that way.
That's cool.
Yes. So, speaking of games, however, back on, again, the topic that traditionally you tune in to hear on this show, the SNES Classic Edition. Now, we gave Nintendo a lot of shit, justifiably so, about the NES Classic Edition, which came out, they made 10 of them or so. They sold out immediately, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to make those anymore, because everyone liked them. So, looks like they're doing it again.
I know, and this one I think more people want than the...
Yes.
I'd say that... Just looking at the lineup and how people talk about this, I think more people are interested in this, and I'm hoping that they learned a little bit about the demand on this and at least start off. You know, it's Nintendo, and they love this kind of stuff. They love having their stuff sell out and be in high demand.
They do.
Come on, guys. Let's not... Don't bung up this one. I want one of these actually quite badly.
Nintendo is a T800... Cybernetic Systems model Terminator, when he's like, my memory is set to read only. It's like Nintendo just read only. They can't accept. It's like, no, we're just gonna make these and sell a few, and it's good. But this thing looks really cool. It's a lot like the other one. Fits in the palm of your hand.
It's so cute.
What's really weird though is the European ones get the Super Famicom version with the multicolored control and different looking console, and then America gets the one that released in America, which I guess makes sense. But it's I'm impressed they're making 2 different versions based on region.
I thought they did that last time, didn't they?
They may have. That missed me if they did.
I was pretty sure that... I don't know if Europe got it, but I'm pretty sure that they did 2 versions last time.
Fascinating.
I want the American version because that's what I had when I was
a
kid.
Me too. It's very nostalgic. I mean, it makes sense. Again, Nintendo, I guess, when they make a product, they do it well. It's just how they implement and market that product.
Yeah.
They do terribly. Maybe this time they'll learn. They won't learn.
Yeah. I mean...
But, it looks really cool.
So $80, September 29th.
Yep.
What is it? It's Star Fox 2?
That's the big thing. So Star Fox 2 never released, at least not in... I don't know if it ever came out at all, honestly.
No, I think they sent out... I saw promotional material for it that they had sent out at that time. But
yeah. And everyone has heard about this. I think was one of the bigger stories of this week, at least. Everyone's talking about it because... For me, Super Nintendo, I love Nintendo. I really do. And there's another story we'll talk about that will relate to that. Nintendo was what I was, but Super Nintendo for me is probably the best console ever, in my opinion, humble opinion. So, to mention a few games that are with it, like Contra 3, which was one of the games I first had. Such a good game. I wasn't a big fan of Donkey Kong Country, but a lot of people love it, so that's no surprise there. F-Zero is another really cool one, a really cool racing game.
Yeah.
And the best video game of all time Final Fantasy 3 is being included with the like that reason alone. I would honestly spend $80 for that reason alone. So you can see Kirby Superstar. They have some weird ones. Like what? Secret of Mana.
That's I'm all about
Squaresoft
that
in their prime.
Just Mario Kart, Mario World. That's kind of nice.
Link to the Past. Another one of the best games ever made. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. Yes. Super Castlevania 4. The original. Super Metroid, which, by the way, Super Metroid is $80 on eBay if you want a cartridge. A used Super Nintendo cartridge is as much as the whole thing put together.
Yeah.
I want one of these. Presumably, I will not get one because they're already sold out.
No. And honestly, I should just put that money into a Switch.
Yeah.
But it's so cute. Like when you see it in their hand, I'm like, I want that like sitting on my entertainment center.
See it. Yeah, you probably can't. Yeah. But it's adorable.
It is. So that will be gone, 3 seconds after it goes online to never be, and then be resold on eBay for $1 bazillion.
Boy, the more I'm just even looking at this now, it's like I really, really want this.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's pretty frustrating. But yes, so for those lucky few who do get it, congratulations. We all hate you. But again, Nintendo, they have their moments. They really do. Keep making the stuff, guys. Give us what we want. Anyway. So then, something else came out this week, which was Darkest Dungeon, The Crimson Court. This game is an expansion to the original game, Darkest Dungeon, which we reviewed quite some time ago, played in full. Both of us loved it.
And I'll link that down below our review of Darkest Dungeon if you're interested. I loved this game. And I didn't play it again recently when you did, and I was kind of waiting, and I do want to pop back into it a little bit, but I don't have time to play ahead and play.
Yeah. Here's the one thing I say about Darkest Dungeon. It's not a game that you can just kind of lightly, casually play. It's a game I feel like you need to invest yourself in, and it's addictive. It's not
that it asks that of you. It's like that I don't know how else to be.
Right.
It's like I'm full on playing Darkest Dungeon, or I'm doing something else and not touching it.
Yeah.
And so when you dipped into it again recently, I was like,
that was
maybe
it.
I shouldn't be doing that.
Bam. Yeah. It's that kind of an awesome game. I think about it all the time. Everything, my metaphors just suddenly become Darkest Dungeon metaphors. Me and my brother, I introduced my brother to it, which was fun. So we were going back and forth and playing. I've read a bunch of reviews for the Crimson Court. It's got generally positive reviews. The one thing they've said universally is it's really, really hard. Now, for anyone that's played Darkest Dungeon, it's a hard game to begin with, but apparently this really ramps up that difficulty because of the dynamic they introduce, where your guys get afflicted with this curse, it's like the vampiric curse, if you go into a certain area, which you kind of have to. And then you have to basically find ways to give them blood, and apparently it's a random drop.
Oh.
Until you can eventually upgrade your village to have something that produces it. It's like, a brothel that you just give. But it takes a while to get there. So they're saying that in between is really, really difficult. Because if they go without blood, they just die eventually.
Oh, so you're losing guys left and right. And you gotta farm. Oh.
So that's pretty tough. It does have a really cool new class, the Flagellant. And he actually, when you bleed, it's really bad. But he actually heals when he bleeds.
Oh, so he would be good in that one place with the pig people?
Yes,
and they're always
where you're always
bleed.
getting bleeding. Yeah. So that's kind of neat. I like that dynamic. And there's a bunch of new enemies, a bunch of random new bosses. It sounds really cool, and it's only $10, which seems criminally low.
Was that part of the Steam sale, or was that?
So I looked at it's on goodoldgames.com. It's $10. It could be somewhere else. That was just the price on average that I saw.
Okay.
So I haven't played it, so I can't really give a recommendation, but I'd just say, based off the reviews, it's pretty good. And I just love the people that make this game, too. They're really socially open. They connect with other fans on social media. They just generally seem like nice, enjoyable people, which honestly isn't that common sometimes.
No, they're pretty open, and it's just such a solid game. You know what I mean? Some games, they've got one certain thing or this certain thing, but this just all around, such a solid game.
Yeah, I would say probably in a few years, I mentioned it before, it's worth repeating. It's probably going to be up there in my top 10 of all time at some point. It's just one of those games, again, you lose yourself in. You just want to play it over and over and over. And despite being a relatively simple premise, it doesn't get repetitive, which is really tough to pull off. So, good for you guys, Darkest Dungeon. We love you. And I will play the Crimson Court eventually when I have some time to do that. Yes. I know, I don't know why I'm doing this a lot today. This is like my thing.
Okay.
I like to bang the nails on the table. Bree loves it.
No.
Do you want to talk about Double Dragon thing, or is there anything else you want to mention first?
No, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned Good Old Games in a hilariously random transition. So if you go to goodoldgames.com, these guys are great. For one thing, they're DRM free. They're kind of like Steam, but they kind of have more of a focus. You've probably heard of them, in case not. They have a focus on retro games, but they also do like recent games too, like The Witcher did pretty well on there.
Isn't it the same people? Is the people that made The Witcher or something? Am I wrong?
Oh, maybe. I don't know about that.
Right?
It seems like a really good piece of trivia right there.
Hold on, we gotta...
Okay, let's see here. Double or Nothing. I'm going to say no. I believe they partnered with CD Projekt. I don't believe CD Projekt owns Good Old Games. I think Good Old Games is an individual entity. You heard it here first. I'm going to bet.
I'll just edit it out if I'm wrong. So.
And just like insert it awkwardly with a different voice. I'd be pretty surprised if that's the case.
CD Projekt is best known for their The Witcher series of video games and their digital distribution service, goodoldgames.com.
We should edit that part out. And just
nope, because Bree's right. So yeah, The Witcher did really well in there because they tried pushing it pretty hard.
Wow, that'd be pretty sad if it didn't. I am a repository of amazing knowledge.
I'm so smart.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Well, there you go. And that makes sense why they distributed it there. But they're also giving away the Double Dragon trilogy, and I must specify the arcade version of the Double Dragon trilogy, not the one that came out on Nintendo. So for me, Double Dragon, again, goes way back to when I was first getting into games, and that's what popped out for me. Now, it's only like $6, so you're getting like $6 free. But I just thought it was cool because I realized there are people who haven't played Double Dragon, and I feel like that's one of those perfect retro games. If you want to see what arcade games were like in the mid-'80s, Double Dragon is an excellent representation of that. It's just a side-scrolling brawler, but it's very unique. It's really got great music. Double Dragon for me was one of those games I always look forward to playing. I bought it I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for the Nintendo. It was the first game I ever got for that game, for that system. But the Nintendo version of Double Dragon is actually a lot different than the arcade version, but they both hold up so well. Mm-hmm. But when I was a kid, it was tough. I mean, for younger folks out there, we had these things called arcades, where they're cabinets, you put in quarters, but not all the games came. We were in Vermont, a tiny little place. We didn't get Double Dragon. You had to go all the way to 2 hours away in New Hampshire to play it. And so when I got to play that, it was such a treat a few times. I was like, man, I just want to give this a little bit of a shout out, because Double Dragon,
you're endeared to your heart.
Although the third one sucked ass, don't play that one. But number 1 and number 2 were fantastic. And again, Double Dragon 2 for the Nintendo was totally different also, but it was such a good game. Totally different.
That was not my stuff.
Oh, man.
Not my jams.
For anyone who's played Double Dragon 2...
no desire to play it right now.
No, it's so good.
It's okay.
They have this thing called the Super Knee, a Nintendo version of Double Dragon 2.
So it was like a knee, but better?
Yeah, so you jump way up and you land, and your knee guy goes flying across the screen. If you do it and there's spikes in the ceiling, you can hit him into the ceiling. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's Super Knee. It was so hard to pull off, but it was so good. Mm-hmm. Double Dragon, baby. It's like single dragon, but there's 2 of them. Mm-hmm. Which makes it doubly awesome. Anyway, yeah, Double Dragon, Good Old Games. And again, I just like to give a shout out to Good Old Games in general, because I feel like they kind of get overlooked sometimes, but they're a great digital distribution system. So
they are great. It's just I feel like I have so much into Steam that
a lot of people do. Yeah.
It's like switching to a different, I don't know what to call it, switching from Apple to Android, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You lose that one place, that one application to launch.
That's also why I like to be cautious, though, because Steam is good. It really is.
It's not. I'm not saying that it's better. To me, I have that habit of using Steam.
I just like to call out for that reason, because there are other options. And I think I wouldn't ever want Steam to be the only platform.
No,
that then gets a little scary. So, yeah, there are alternatives, and Good Old Games is a good one, if you want to go that route. Anywho, you have things to talk about, too.
Actually, I want to talk about, it's kind of an update, because we had talked about the last night and that designer. Waypoint actually did an interview with the designer from the last night. He was the guy that kind of got, he released this game at E3. The trailer looked amazing, super cool style. And then people started to, he got all this attention, and then spotlight's on him, and people are like, hey, dude, your 2014 tweets, 2015 tweets are pretty, like, you know, Gamergate, you use Gamergate tag and whatever. So that, you know, he was very polarized, what people thought. Like, everybody was very interested in what the game looked like, but their opinions on him either made, you know, like, you shouldn't look at people's, you know, past like that and make these assumptions was one, you know, side of that. And the other side is, you know, he's part of Gamergate. Once you've done that Gamergate stuff, you're forever
tainted.
You're forever tainted, and you know, so there's a lot of back and forth. But then Waypoint released just the transcript of them interviewing him, and he is, you know, English is not his first language, so they definitely call that out.
Oh, interesting. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, so they call it out as that some of his points maybe weren't, you know, articulated as clearly as they could have been.
Well, that's a good point, though, because that could come off a lot differently.
It could. He definitely is, I think, a lot more apologetic in the interview. You know, he's realizing that those tweets kind of got him in some hot water, and people might not even be interested in his game. It's okay. You know, I'm still on that edge of, let's see what he's going to do with this. You know, let's see the end product before we, you know, say what this is about. But I think it's a good read anyway. So I want to kind of call that out and I want to link it down below. It was interesting, and if you had been paying attention or you're interested in this game at all, just he's kind of goes deeper into what he's trying to do there, what kind of, you know, if the world was this way, how would it work, and what's the bad that could come out of this, or what's the good, or, you know, I don't know.
Well, the game itself, if we're talking graphics and design, looks phenomenal.
Graphics, and that's what everybody's seen. So this is a little bit of the other side of it. You know, he doesn't necessarily nail down the gameplay. It seems still it's a little fruity and out there. We're not quite, you know, honed in on what this game might be like to play and experience, but it's a lot of his ideas and how those ideas are going to fit into his game. I'm still hesitant based off of some of the things that I've seen that this guy has written and even reading this interview, but, you know, I do want to see what this game is about.
So I've talked about it before too. Again, I usually will try and separate the art from the creator. It's difficult to do at times.
To a point. There's definitely a point at which I'm going to be like, I don't give a shit. You're an asshole. I don't care if you created the world's best thing. I don't believe in what you believe in, and not that I'm saying that he can't make his game or he doesn't have his right to, you know, have whatever. I'm not going to touch that part of it, but at some point there is a breaking point where I'm like, no, too gross for me.
How do you feel about Apple products when Steve Jobs was alive?
Why?
Because he was a universally renowned asshole, and he was kind of a dick to women. Like, I've heard more and more of that, and honestly,
that wasn't part of the product he was putting out. Whereas this is, his ideas are kind of going into it. You know, like, you didn't open up an iPhone and you get, like, I don't like women and I only eat fruit.
I'm sure if he had it his way, you would.
You know, maybe he would, but that's not the end thing. And so this is a little different because his ideas are kind of part of the product that I'm buying.
Okay.
So.
Yep. And I think I'm probably there with you in that regard. It's tough. Like, if the game's fun, honestly, I'm willing to overlook some of that stuff, unless it's just really, really bad. Like, you know, if you're like, actually, if it's a game that's like outwardly like if it's racist or something like that, like outwardly.
Yeah, that's where that's that line. Yeah. There is a line, and at this moment, we'll see where he's gonna go from there. You know, maybe he really is sorry. Maybe, you know, sometimes you're in a weird place and you think different things, and you know, you move on and you learn and you
People do grow. I mean, not everyone does, but some do.
Not saying he did or didn't, but I think it's an interesting read anyways.
Yeah,
and Waypoint did a good interview there. And I liked how they just presented it as is with, you know what I mean? Like, some people might go in and then they say, this is my idea of how that interview went.
Yeah.
They kind of noticed that this was a touchy subject, and more so they just kind of, this is what he said.
So a good comparison is a while back in one of our Atomic Facepalm weeklies, we talked about how a bunch of journalists went to Valve, and Gabe Newell gave a speech. And there was a great article by Colin.
Polygon?
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry. But it was Polygon. And that was a very good example of someone kind of putting their own spin on the interview, right? He just talked about the overall feel and what he thought was going on. It was informative, it was great, but then you contrast to this, where this is just basically like a documentary. There's camera, not really a camera, but I mean, it's something capturing what someone said. And I've been reading through it now, and it does seem that way.
Yeah, and they do give their first impressions, and they try to, especially where English is not his first language, try to extrapolate a little bit of what they thought he might have been trying to say, but in, quotes. So, I don't know. Link down below. I highly suggest it. And if you haven't seen the last night trailer, that's cool too. That it really is such... I can definitely separate that trailer from this guy and just say that's cool. Whoever did that art style it looks really good.
I don't know if the next Blade Runner 2049 or whatever the hell it's called will be good. I feel like if it sucks, we can maybe just play this, pretend like that's the sequel to Blade Runner.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It definitely is very Blade Runner.
Yeah,
looking.
definitely inspired. Yeah,
for sure.
80s type of retro future. So yes, I would agree. I actually read through it while we were, and it's pretty engrossing. I'll continue to read that afterward.
Yeah, that was interesting. Another thing I wanted to kind of call out is something cool this week. So the guy, co-founder of Playdead, and they did Inside and Limbo.
Yep.
One of those guys he actually left Playdead, I guess, and is doing his own thing. And now they're working on another sci-fi action-adventure game called Somerville. And that came out with the most basic teaser trailer ever. Like, don't expect much here, but it's just something on your radar. Kind of a cool little trailer. Looking. Yeah, no.
Wow.
It does look pretty, but that's pretty much it.
That scene it's a moves. Slow zoom in to the nice art
basically, that's a moving scene, and that's it.
Can we just give another sort of attaboy to the guy's name? Dino Patty. That sounds like some Pokemon name or something.
It sounds like a Flintstones.
Yeah, some sort of combination of like an ancient person married like a modern person. And Dino Patty. Awesome.
It sounds like if you got like a frozen dinner from 1992 with the Flintstones on it, it would come with a Dino Patty in there.
Yeah, free Dino Patty in every box.
And chocolate cake dessert.
He comes out and makes you like a custom game and runs off. And listen to this quote though. He left the company to seek new challenges, which sounds like the Star Trek intro. To seek new life and new challenges, to make new games and new civilizations. Oh, I don't even know this guy. I love him already. I'm being presumptuous assuming it's a guy. Maybe it's a girl.
I thought it was a guy.
Dino? Know what I'm saying?
I thought that was a guy. I thought it's Dino and... But what is the name of his new company that he's with?
Wow.
It was in there somewhere. Jump Ship.
Jump Ship.
So I think
that ties into that.
I think that's funny because he jumped ship.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There it was.
Yeah, this person's amazing.
He's amazing. He's the best guy in the entire world. So that'll be linked down below. I think it's really not much to go on, but just to kind of put it on your radar as something.
Yeah, I actually didn't know until you mentioned it. Honestly.
Yeah, I just saw it today, so that's kind of cool.
Can we just mention this other one real quick? Because I'm really curious. I haven't read this, but. What's this about women's swastikas in Call of Duty World War II? What?
Oh, so Call of Duty World War II, they released some more of like how it's going to work because it's set in that setting of, World War II, old-timey stuff.
Yeah.
And you're playing, how does that work in multiplayer? I guess people were starting to wonder about how that would work. And so during the campaign, you've got to kind of hone in and be a certain way and, fight. But multiplayer, you can be a woman. There's no swastikas in multiplayer. So you can be a woman, you can be different colors. So you can actually be on the Nazi side and be a black female. And they're trying to say that for multiplayer, it's more about the experience of playing against people, and they want you to be comfortable in your skin. And some people are upset because there aren't women in whatever in the war. But there's other multiplayer modes where there's zombies. There wasn't zombies in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the most realistic mode ever either.
I mean, somebody's fan fiction of World War II, sure, but you know what I mean. So it's kind of brought up some strong opinions from people about why there should be women or not be women in the multiplayer game, and they're just they released more of a statement kind of saying, look, this is our intention, we're separating it, we want you to feel comfortable in multiplayer, it's a different playing experience, yada yada. Though very perfectly worded so they don't
Right. I could see, wow, because now I'm thinking about it. If they did have Nazi uniforms and if they were authentic, I could see so much hate coming. I could just see a lot of like actual like hate groups playing that game and then going.
And so they're trying to remove that portion of it.
Maybe that was a good idea, honestly.
I guess, yeah.
Well, I have mixed feelings about that because again, it's just a video game.
It's just a video game. I think that's what they're trying to say. Is multiplayer is just a video game, and while they're trying to tell a story through, the single player campaign and there's swastikas and this and that, but multiplayer is just multiplayer. Call of Duty. Okay. I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's no matter what kind of layer of paint we put over it, it's Call of Duty, and who gives a crap if you're a zombie or a lady or a
if it was
person of color.
If they did that in single player, that'd be pretty outrageous. I think they tried to whitewash history or something, but
yeah.
Because they're not the only game to do that, by the way. There are a lot of games.
So they were pointing out, I guess, at Battlefield 1, where you can't play as a woman in multiplayer yet. That's supposed to be patched in. Right. They have got that in the patch notes coming up for a recent or expansion patch, whatever. So you can't be a woman right now in multiplayer.
Okay.
So there's those two sides of the coins. It's like, why can't you be a woman? I don't know. As a little kid, I remember growing up and being like, oh, cool, I'll play this game. And it's not a game like The Witcher where you're playing as a character. That makes sense to me. Then that person should have a sex and whatever. But if it's a whatever game, why can't I be a girl?
Yeah.
I am a girl. Why can't I be a girl?
There's a lot of people have said that the first feminist game, quote, was Metroid, because you were actually like a female all along. But there's a lot of people like, yeah, but she was hidden until you got like a secret ending. So it's like, well, I mean, getting back to like the censorship part, that used to happen all the time on the Nintendo. Bionic Commando, the original one in Japan, took place like you would fight Hitler at the end or like Nazi signs and stuff. Mm-hmm. For the American ported version, they just put like a generic symbol and a generic bad guy because they didn't want to like even reference that. So this is not something that's new by any means.
No, I just think honestly, I think it's a little silly that we're even discussing it anymore, like that people are upset that you can be a woman in a multiplayer online shooting game. I think it's just, who fucking cares?
Yeah, kind of with you there.
Yeah. So I'll link their statement down below if you haven't seen it.
Yep.
That was it for me.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me too. I think we covered some good stuff there. Again, really going to try and I'm going to finish Rime. That's my main goal, is finish Rime.
You got a lot of goal settings that you've done this week.
I'm good at setting goals. I'm not really good at hitting them. But the two things, finish Rime, play Star Trek Bridge Crewing character. Those are the two big ones. And play some Warhammer 40k. But that's the side stuff. That's not a goal. That's something to do for fun. So, yeah, that's what we're looking up to. We'll see if we can make that.
For me, I just want to play, I think Arizona Sunshine.
Yeah.
Finish up enough of that to give a better review of that and do a review of a couple VR games.
Yeah, we should do that too. Actually, we mentioned that before.
Swim.
We should. Yep. VR Swim. See, you said it, and it almost sounded so natural, I didn't even laugh. I was
VR Swim.
Oh, wait, VR Swim. Swim VR. We mentioned it to our live studio audience, who is now a dead studio audience, and they enjoyed it.
They didn't enjoy it. Maybe. Sort of.
It's going to be so edgy and amazing. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Again, you can go ahead and hit subscribe, or you can leave a fantastic comment in the comments below and let us know what's happening with you. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Chris.
This is Bree.
Good luck.
Have fun.